even thank you for being 40 years old yet.
I love you. All right, so we're going again?
Yeah, everything's rolling.
All right,
Okay.
so we'll start over.
You did a poem and everything again.
I did a poem and everything. Okay. Hey, friends. So
One more
everything
time.
got a little wonky. So we had to start over. So this is take 2 of the Dream Chasers podcast with Munhall Mayor Rob Falce. Now that I know the proper pronunciation of his name. And your name's Michelle? Michelle. And his lovely wife, Michelle, is hiding in the corner. I offered her a microphone, and she's like, lady, no. Thanks, but no. Anyway, so we might be able to catch some of this footage, but we were discussing your recent brief tenure as mayor of Munhall, about 2 years. I'm a judge of elections. I got elected to a thing. It's not important to say.
No, I knew you were. You and your husband both work on the election board, right?
He's not officially a member of the board. He comes in and he works the elections when I'm short-staffed, which, as you know.
Now, which poll are you working at now?
7.
Okay,
Upstairs.
that's downstairs. You're not
6.
upstairs.
Which one's upstairs? 6?
6 is where we
Oh
vote
my
at. That's where I vote
God.
at.
Are you
That's
upstairs or
upstairs.
downstairs?
Upstairs.
6.
So you're up at 6.
Yeah. So when I first moved to Munhall, I was downstairs, and that's why I get the 6 and 7 confused.
Okay,
I'm upstairs.
yeah, 6 is upstairs because there was an older guy named Ed working there.
Yeah.
Who I just recognized as being a Boy Scout for 80 years
Oh my God.
at the last council meeting. Well, he's not been a Boy Scout,
Right.
but since
He's
time
been
he was
with
a
the
Boy
Boy Scout.
Scout and involved as a leader.
Oh wow.
I just recognized him as at last Tuesday's meeting of
That's a
80
nice
years
guy.
in scouting.
We do a lot of we go back and forth a lot, because the unfortunate reality of working elections is people are not trained sufficiently.
Mm-mm.
And so there's a lot of, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? And so there's a lot of running up and down the stairs as we just try to help each other out with it. I'm very much one of those people where people are like, I hate the way things are going. Did you vote? Did you vote?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you vote?
Please vote.
You should vote. And so I figured I should put my ass where my mouth is.
I have to work elections too, though.
Huh?
I have to work elections too.
Do you?
Yeah, my regular job is with Allegheny County.
Oh my gosh.
So
that's right, I saw
they
that.
asked me to be what they used to call rover. They call it something else now, but I have to go to 5 or 6 different polls and
So,
4 times a
do you
day and
have to
check
go
on
to,
them,
like-
make sure there's no problems.
We have those guys.
So I don't know
like
if I'll
overseer.
get our poll or not.
So where do you do that? Because can you do?
Well, they're giving me. I asked
I
them
was
the
about
other
to say,
day.
wouldn't it be like a conflict of
No,
interest?
they
to have
told me
you
they're
do
giving
Munhall?
me Homestead.
Okay, well that's not
So
That doesn't mess you
that's-
up.
Yeah, nobody in Homestead can vote for me. So
right. So that doesn't
That's
mess you
fine.
up. That's cool.
yeah,
That's
but,
cool.
But they have gave me Munhall before, a couple of districts in Munhall, and at one time they gave me Munhall and like 2 districts in Munhall, and the rest were in Lincoln Place. So
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. It's like we're so understaffed, and like I remember during the election that was during pandemic. It was very volatile. There was a lot of angry faces during that particular election cycle, and as you know, previously they were all 90-year-old ladies working the elections because they're the ones who had time.
absolutely.
And so I went and I voted in those times. I'm like, these ladies should not be being exposed to all of it, And I will fully admit to having a liberal bent. I'm not going to lie about it. I'm European. It's a thing. I feel like we almost all end up going that way. But I was like, yeah, no, these little ladies should not be bearing the brunt of this. And since I do tend to, I vote shame people.
A lot of the little ladies were doing it when they were 40 years old. Then they just kept doing it until they were 80
for a long
and
time.
85.
I made a lot of people really mad when I ran for that office because I knew Maureen was moving on, and she was
Rainy Fry, yeah.
and she was the one who was upstairs. I knew she was moving on. I was like, it's going to be an open thing. Anybody could run, but people were so mad at me for running.
Gosh.
Oh my God, I got cussed out.
Nobody should
Like I
get
got
mad at
cussed
you.
out. I got cussed out by little old ladies who were like, I'm like, you could have put yourself on the ballot. Just as you would have probably won because people would know you. Mine was just like, oh, she's the only one. So,
Right.
so they voted for me.
And
I'll
most
probably
people don't even put that. Most people don't know when those judge and inspector
Right.
positions come up. So usually you have to tell someone, if you want to write your name in.
Just write your name in. Right. You're right. I know. And we're just grateful when people are willing to work it. Mm-hmm. And I tend to give my election workers tiaras and I feed them. And so they like to come back. And I'm not mean to them. So since we had a little bit of a technical issue, I'm going to reread my poem.
Okay.
So towards the beginning of all of this podcast, we start with Harlem by Langston Hughes, which one of these days I will have memorized. I just don't want to mess it up. It's so beautiful. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? So the reason I do this poem is don't laugh at me. So all my good ideas come in the shower. And so I was in the shower and this poem just this poem is the reason for the podcast. Because I was in the shower and this poem just kept in my head. And I'd had a lot of really fascinating conversations about the notion of chasing dreams. And a lot of folks think that chasing dreams is some big thing, right? Like, oh, I'm going to be president, or oh, I'm going to start some multinational, AI company or whatever. They think that dreams are huge. I'm of the opinion that they're small, and sometimes they get bigger, But I feel like a little teeny tiny dream is just as valid. So, as mayor of a teeny tiny little town, what does that notion of chasing of a dream mean to you?
Well, chasing of a dream is, you just don't dream for yourself. You dream for, you care for your community, so you dream for the whole community as a whole, and you care for the town, and you want to try to make it better than it was.
Yeah.
The dreams I look at are dreams into the future. I don't try to dream and look back into the past, because we're not 1950, 1960, 1970 Munhall anymore.
Right.
We're not even 1980 Munhall, but we're in the, 21st century now. And
do that math. Wait.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Because remember, we used to say the 20th century all the time,
for
right?
Longest time.
Now it's actually the 21st century. Am I right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
It's always the century ahead.
Yeah, it's always the century ahead. So you have to dream for the 21st century, and just not for what today. You have to look ahead and dream ahead. So
when Rob Falce was 7, what did Rob Falce want to do in his life?
Well, Rob Falce wanted to do when he was 7. I probably was my father was already in politics a little bit in West Mifflin.
Okay.
So I'm kind of a legacy. Okay. He was a councilman for many years. He was the mayor for a term there in West Mifflin. But when I was 7, I was kind of caught up in the religion again at one time, and I thought, maybe I want to be a priest someday.
Okay.
I don't even know if my wife knows that. I don't even know if I ever even told her that.
Did you?
Okay. But when I was 7, that was probably, I was thinking, boy, it would be neat to be a priest. I like going to church, and you speak in front of everybody. Everybody listens to you. There's, 100 people in the
power.
Thing, and there's power. And probably not
cool
power,
outfits.
but cool black outfits, and they put the colors on sometimes, the purple and the blue. So at 7, that's probably one time what I was thinking of doing at 7 years old.
That's cute.
And that completely didn't change. I mean, I ended up, being on, not a priest, but I ended up being on like the parish council, and I ended up teaching CCD. Right. And doing things like that.
God, I'm having flashbacks from being 12.
Yeah.
CCD, right? That's a thing. Sorry, it was just funny. So, as Mayor Munhall, I have to tell you something. So I was I was a single mom for years and years and years. And in the mid 90s, I lived on East 9th down in Homestead.
Okay.
Poor shit. And there was this one day I was on the bus, and I had to go to Century 3 back when that was a thing for something. And I was on the bus, and the bus goes to this cute little neighborhood. And I'm like, oh my God, someday I want to live in this neighborhood. So 23-year-old Samantha wanted to live in this neighborhood. So fast forward 40 years. 30 years. I don't know, the longest time. So I moved here 8 years ago. Yeah, so fast forward 20 years. I'm living in Seattle and decided to move back to Pittsburgh. And I'm talking to a friend of mine and I'm like, okay, so we're looking at Dormont, we're looking at Westview, like these are the neighborhoods we're looking at. And she's like, okay. And so she's going and looking at houses for me because we wanted to pick a place before we actually moved. Looking at Westview, looking at Dormont, kind of looking at Millville. And she calls me and she's like, I know this isn't Dormont, but I found this little house and it screams you. I'm like, okay, go look at it. So she looks at it. She sends me a video. I'm like, okay, pocket doors, right? You win. And so, we end up renting this house on Main Street, sight unseen. And we drive up. It's like the 3rd of July. It's 2:00 in the morning. We're driving the U-Haul up the hill, and I crest, and there's that little bit of Main Street with all the lights. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, what is this? I love this. And so we ended up moving into this little house on Main Street, directly across from the diner, which is why I was asking you earlier about the diner. I was there about 5 or 6 days, and my husband and I go for a walk. And we walk down the street, and we're walking down Main, and then we turn the corner, and I realize that I am now living in that neighborhood that 23-year-old Samantha wanted to move to, and did not realize that was happening.
Yes.
So I feel like if you have a dream and you speak it into the universe, even when you forget about that dream, sometimes that dream happens. So I'm in love with Munhall. Yes, it's a problem. Yes, people are bitching about 30 minutes of trick or treating.
Don't let that little waterfront thing inconvenience you for a week. They'll go over the railroad crossing. Come on, give us another half hour of trick or treating. Give us another half.
Sometimes it's all I can do. Sometimes it is all I can do not to go, oh my God, because somebody, okay.
So you read the Ask Mayor Falce site, I see.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So this is going to air after Halloween. But somebody yesterday posted, make trick or treating 30 minutes longer. Think of the children. What is wrong? Hashtag for the kids.
I don't know.
For the kids! Exclamation points.
Yes.
Dear God. Are these the same children that you complain are walking down your street being too loud at 3:30 in the afternoon? Because I feel like they are.
And the price of candy now, that 30 minutes.
Well, the thing is so we've lived here 8 years. It's never stopped at the stop time. Like, if you don't want it to stop, leave your light on.
Yeah, that's what I told one of the people a couple weeks ago. I said, you know what? If you want to go past 7:30, fine. Leave your light on. They'll come if they want to come.
It's like a guideline, right? It's so that we know, so the kids don't try to trick or treat at 3, Right. It's like, no, honey, you have to wait till 6. So like, that's.
And another reasons we keep it the same is because, not that we don't like West Homestead kids or Homestead kids, but then
they don't bounce from neighborhood to neighborhood.
Okay, one house still has another half hour yet. Let's go up there. And then all of a sudden, at 25
we all go on
after
Venango.
7,
we all do Venango.
Hard.
We all walk down Venango. Nobody walks down Alberta. Nobody comes down my street. We may give away 8 pieces of candy all night.
I can go anywhere from 25 to 75. And this year is supposed to get cold, so I'll probably get 25 to 30.
Yeah. Yeah, we maybe get a dozen. Like, on a good day, we get a dozen. Which is funny, because we're just a block off of Maine. We don't get that many.
And then we have the Halloween parades.
Right.
And everybody has a trunk or treat now.
Just so great.
So there's all places to go that they can.
No, I mean,
it's a week of venture.
What I like about Munhall. So when I moved here from Seattle, right? And so we'd been here, I don't know, a couple days, and then we went to Randy's when Randy's was still Randy's.
Randy's.
And so we went in and we're like, oh, there's this little bar 3 doors down from our house. We should check it out. And everyone's like, why did you move here? It's boring. I'm like, yes.
Some people want.
Yes. Boring is nice.
Boring, quiet, sometimes nice.
It's really, yeah. I mean, like, we always refer to it as Pittsburgh adjacent because my husband and I go on walks every night, and we'll walk to Pittsburgh so we'll walk to Brierley.
Yeah,
because that's where the line is.
Right to
it's a mile.
Right to the red light there.
Yeah, and then there you are. But what I like about it is it has all of those weird quirks of a small town, like people bitching about trick or treaters.
Yes,
and it also isn't. It's almost like in the center of the universe because we're 20 minutes from everything. We've got the waterfront down there. We've got, all the Century 3 adjacent stuff up there. Well, I mean, the mall's gone, but like everything around it.
Yeah, I know.
Like there's all the stuff around it, but the mall itself that's depressing.
We're not far from the airport.
No, it's not far from anything.
How far we can be in the airport.
Right. The busing situation could be, but that's not you, that's county. I'm sure you get blamed for the buses. I'm sure.
I get questioned.
Somebody yells at you about the buses.
There's a guy that works in Oakland. He works for the University of Pittsburgh, and he asks me all the time. He wants to get a bus. And, I could try, but that doesn't mean they'll listen to me. But he wants to get a bus where he can go straight into Oakland.
It is a little weird that you can't go to Oakland.
To Pittsburgh and then get a transfer to Oakland.
Right.
My wife would like it. She works at CMU, so she would like it to be convenient for her.
In order for, so my shop is currently in Point Breeze. I don't have locations anymore, so I just have a production facility, and that's in Point Breeze. For me to get to Point Breeze, sometimes 3 buses.
Oh my God!
I mean, whatever, I'll do it, or I'll just bite it and walk the extra mile and a half, which I also don't mind doing. But it's a tricky area to get in and out of if you don't have a car, because we are on top of a hill. But it's also one of the advantages of it because no one goes through Munhall unless they're trying to go to Munhall. So we don't have, up on the hill, we don't have the stupid traffic that we have. Like, poor Homestead gets just hammered with traffic. But it's like Mayberry cute. Main Street is like Mayberry cute. So, I was very, again, like the day I realized that that's where we were. Was really powerful. And I feel like it having been sort of like the bedroom community for the mills, it gives it that wonderful grit that a lot of Pittsburgh has, while at the same time, like there are people who live in Munhall who've lived there for, 80 years.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think is great. I'm a big old fan of the town. So you became mayor about 2 years ago. Bonner? Is that the guy who was between Bodner
No, there was Bodner, Brennan, and me.
So you don't have rebound girlfriend syndrome, which poor Brennan had, because Bodner was mayor for 30?
Oh, 35 years, I believe he was. And the mayor before him was a man named Knight, and he was mayor for about 30-some years. I'm only the 4th mayor of Munhall.
Ever? I love this town.
Munhall's only have 4 mayors. I'm the 4th.
Oh my God! But you were on the council before.
I was on council for 16 years.
Oh my God! I've been to one council meeting, and I was like, "This is like the parliament. Like there's like yelling. There's people yelling.
Oh yeah.
There's only like 11,000 of us. Why is there yelling?" So coming into a situation where the mayor had been there for 30 years, the other one just did one term, right?
He did one term.
Did he finish his term? No, he finished his term,
and he wanted to be back on council. So he decided the mayor wasn't for him. He wanted to be back on council.
Because people complained to him about things they had no control over. Probably.
That probably is a little bit of it, but he ran with a group that he was working with, and he thought he could get more accomplished, I think, as a councilman than he could as the mayor. Munhall has a weak mayor government, it's considered. The mayor has a tiebreaker vote.
Right.
The mayor's in charge of public safety and the police. That is the main thing the mayor is in charge of, even though it seems like everything falls under the mayor. But
did you get to continue that deal with the devil that we have about getting the streets plowed? Because Munhall has a deal with the devil. Because
our streets plowed are great
all the time. They're good all the time. Like you cannot tell how bad the roads are based on where we live. Because the second you leave Munhall, you're like, why am I dying now? Yeah. Because like up there it looks great, and then the second you leave,
go into Lincoln Place and you'll see it.
It's a mess.
Cross over the Homestead Grace Bridge and you'll see how bad it is.
Holy crap! Go to Duquesne, and it's like you're taking your life in your own hands, which threw me off because because I moved back to Pittsburgh. I'd been in Seattle for 8 years, and it doesn't. It snows sometimes. Like you might get an inch. Go there when it snows. There's no infrastructure.
Stopped.
No infrastructure. And as often as it snows there, you would think they'd maybe think about buying salt trucks, but no. They don't have any. There's the state ones. There's state ones, but the city doesn't have any. And like you can look YouTube videos of people just like ping ponging off of each other going downhill. So bad.
One of the funny complaints I get sometimes is, but the roads are great.
Yeah.
They use too much salt. Well, our roads are great. That's why we're using salt.
That's why. So just make sure you rinse off the bottom of your car.
Yes, exactly. There's car washes and all over the place in Munhall, and
that's really funny. Yeah, that's definitely a thing I noticed. I'm like, our roads are always good. That's how I always joke about it. We have a deal with the devil.
Yeah, I mean, I like
done.
it. The roads are good, and
roads are good.
It's and I think our police department is excellent.
Yeah, everyone's lovely.
I mean, we have an excellent chief, great assistant chief. All of our police are good. And we're actually doing more with
some hiring.
We hired 3 new police last year,
okay,
but they were replacements for people retired.
Okay.
And I know you mentioned Mayberry before, and I love Mayberry too. And Mayberry does remind you of Munhall a little bit.
Yep.
But I often tell people, Munhall's not Mayberry anymore. We're getting in the budget to hire 2 more police this year.
Yeah.
And I just hope I can get council to pass it.
Yeah.
To get us 2 more police on.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, we were working. It's a job where people get hurt, a police officer. And if someone gets hurt, I could be working a 2-man shift. I can have a 2-man shift out there. That means we have one in the park, and then the other car could be over in the garden plan. And there's just too much in between to have a 2-person on shift sometime.
Yeah.
Especially like on a Friday and a Saturday night.
Right.
So we're working on getting 2 more police. We've got a motorcycle. I'm sorry. We got a motorcycle.
I belched. It's fine.
We got a motorcycle.
Listen, we're very real. We don't even pretend. I don't edit the bad stuff out. Like, this is just what it is.
That one. That's me. I've actually had my phone in my pocket one time, and somehow I ended up recording it. So I'm walking somewhere, and I'm, all of a sudden I belched, and I didn't realize I was recording it. And it ended up being on Facebook. And people were
You're Facebook Living from your pocket.
And I said it was the first time I ever did that. I never did a Facebook Live. And this one time I did it, my phone's in my pocket, and I belched.
Oh, my God, that's hilarious.
As I'm walking somewhere. But
see, these things, they're wonderful, but man, they're
very sensitive.
They're trouble. All right, so I was looking at your bio. Mm-hmm. This leads to my next question. So it says you started Munhall Cares. This is a thing I haven't heard of. No. So I've been busy. I'm sorry.
If you're not busy, you're invited to join Munhall Cares.
Yeah. So what is that?
It's a group that we've put on the Main Street Market Nights.
Oh, so that's
a group that's done that.
Oh, okay.
We're working on right now having a holiday market.
Okay.
And that'll be on December 2nd after the parade.
Okay.
Because there's a Still Valley holiday parade every year. And right now we're working on with the old Randy's Bear Barrel. Now it's the Main Street.
Which I haven't been in there.
It's a cool place.
Main Street
it's a nice place.
Pub?
Main Street Tavern.
And
it's a nice place. The owner's a nice guy. And
I walk past it every single day.
And he wants to work with us. And we're looking at working with Munhall Cares. We're going to have a chili contest. That's awesome. Best chili,
Yeah.
And put first, second, third place. But Munhall Cares is out there to help people in need. The Halloween parade is today.
Right.
On Main Street.
Which is why we're doing this at 8:30
That's why we
morning.
have to be here. I need to go home and rest before the Halloween parade. I have to figure out a costume yet or something.
Oh, I don't. My kids are home, and I told them that the parade was today, but, they're teenagers now,
So the parade is, today. And unfortunately, a terrible accident happened to the lady that ran the parade for years.
Oh, okay.
She's okay. She's a great person, and she does rescues. Okay. And she was bit about 3 weeks ago by a dog that she was working with at the rescue. And she's had several surgeries, and she reached out to Munhall Cares and said, hey, can you help me out with the parade this year? Because there's not a lot. I need some help because I can't do what I used to do. She just got out of the hospital a little over a week ago.
Oh, wow.
So
that's bad timing.
We've picked that up. And we're out there when there's somebody in need, somebody that needs something. We, have send out volunteers, a little of our Munhall Cares small army we have, to work a spaghetti dinner for them and help out.
Okay.
We maybe did to donate a basket for their basket raffle. Munhall Cares is, I look to get maybe if we would get a bad snow this year, I have a contact, and hopefully we don't. And if we do, our roads will be good.
I love snow. I'm so excited.
But there's people's driveways that aren't good sometimes, and they're older or not able to do it.
Right, that's the bad part.
So I'm trying to work some programs out with maybe some high school kids. In the football, I talked to one of the assistant football coaches.
That's a good idea.
Or maybe we can get them to go out and, shovel a senior citizen's driveway, or somebody that just can't do it anymore,
Right. That's a good idea.
So, Munhall Cares looks to go out and help people and to just better the community and get a more community environment.
I do feel like that's
town.
Kind of like a general problem right now is that, and I know we had it before the pandemic, but I definitely feel like it's worse after the pandemic, that everyone has blinders on. Everyone only sees their stuff and their problems and their issues and their things, and they forget that we live around other people. And I think that what's nice about living in a small town, even one that's Pittsburgh adjacent, is that it's easier. I feel like to be able to do things like that, because then you can create this sense of community with people that live next door to you, as opposed to trying to do something with somebody across the country.
I think Munhall has done is they've done cares that we've done cleanups. There was supposed to be one scheduled for tomorrow. Munhall Cares, we were doing it with Homestead and West Homestead.
Yeah,
a cleanup through the whole valley, but with the weather forecast for tomorrow, it's terrible. It's
but the
been
rain
canceled.
all day. Yeah.
So I think we're going to hold our big cleanup day off now until spring, because weather's just too iffy.
So
right now.
do you have like a website, or is it just like a
Munhall
Facebook?
Cares has a website.
Okay.
Yes. And there's a website. You can just Google Munhall Cares. Facebook page.
Okay.
Website.
Rock on.
So
we'll
log on,
try to get the word
follow
out.
what they do, what we do. I was the initial president, mainly because a lot of my roles as being mayor, I thought I could step down. So now I'm like the liaison to the group.
Right.
And, my wife, Michelle, works with the group, and we have a president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, and a couple other good members. And then there's some members that, nobody has to do every event. And some members, they may want to just, work with the cleanup, or they just may want to work with something we're trying to open is something that they've done in Braddock, a free store.
I love free stores.
So
we donate a lot of stuff to the free stores.
Coming up in the next year. Hopefully we get the free store working.
Well, I have some like store displays that I'm not using.
My wife's been saving hangers. We have a lot of hangers. Right now.
But I have some shelving that I haven't been.
We could use a donation. If you want to do, when we get our free store up, we could use some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Once we get a place. And we're working with some churches around.
That's a good idea.
And the Munhall Cares, does try to build partnerships with other groups, with churches, with the school district, and with the borough. We try to build partnerships with the communities, groups and organizations, because it wouldn't be much if it was just by itself. You have to build groups and partnerships to make this really work.
And what's weird about Munhall is the way we're shaped, right? So again, moved in sight unseen, right? Not realizing that where I was going was where I was going. And I was looking at the demographics. I'm like, oh, cool. It's pretty much like right down the middle, white, black. And I wanted to live in a diverse neighborhood. Like, that's what I wanted. Like, I feel like it's representative of the world. I wanted my kids to grow up in neighborhoods that didn't just look like them,
Absolutely.
And so I was like, cool. All right, this is like 50-50. That's great. Perfect. And then we get there, and school ends, and the brown kids go down the hill, and the white kids go up the hill.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's changing a little.
It's changing a little. It is changing a little bit, but I imagine for you that adds to some of the complication, because I've talked to Ed, the now former superintendent of the schools, and I was like, we're going to get deep for a second. I was like, why does Barrett look the way Barrett looks, and why does Park look the way Park looks? And it's like, it's not because the Barrett parents, sometimes it's hard for people who look like us to accept people who don't look like us. So as someone who looks like us, what challenges are you finding having a constituency that's half people who don't look like us? Like, I mean, especially because the council pretty much only looks like us, right?
I've never had a problem with that. I've reached out to people, and I have a lot of friends that are brown, white. No, I mean, that doesn't matter to me. I've never seen color. I've never, I'm not there's no races involved here.
Right.
I mean,
please,
Charlie Batch, I try to help him as much as I can.
Right.
I'm in touch with Tasha Batch and Charlie. Whenever I can help them, I'm there for them. I know there was some people, and I'm going to be blunt and honest.
Yeah,
some people, when Charlie started building his thing,
we're pissed
and against it because of Charlie's color, race.
Right.
Well, I was never against it. I was always for it. And
it's the sad thing about it, because we have this wonderful opportunity because of our demographic, right? Because we've got this fantastic, literally, it was almost right down the middle demographic that we have going on to build all of these wonderful bridges,
right?
And I do notice there's starting to be more of this happening with Up and Down the Hill. Just in the last 8 years.
Yeah, the last few years, there's more of it happening. You know, I live on Troutman Street, and it's right across from the playground. And, years ago, I only saw white kids playing there.
Yeah.
And now I'm seeing more kids, brown kids playing there. And I love it. There's no problem,
Yeah.
I mean, funny as it sounds, a lot of time when it is a problem,
it's the white kids.
It's the white kids that are the problem. My wife's shaking her head. She
I own
notices
a couple of white kids. I know that they're the problem.
She notices it too, But I don't see. I don't see a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Like I said, I build relationships, and I've built relationships with other mayors because I don't want to keep us on an island.
Right.
I've built relationships with the mayors of Rankin, North Braddock. I have a relationship with West Mifflin's mayor, and some are black, some are white.
Yeah.
But I have relationships, with mayors in other communities, Braddock, Rankin, West Mifflin. Of course, we have a new mayor in West Homestead. I don't know him very well yet because Mayor Dindak retired after many, many years.
Because that's what we do. We get our one and we hold on to him. I know that name. I'm going to vote for that one. I know that name. I'm going to vote for that one.
But he was a good one, though. He was a good one. He's fun.
I didn't know Bodner well enough to have an opinion one way or the other.
The mayor of West Homestead was a good mayor, and I just recently met the mayor of West Homestead. I don't know him. And the mayor of Homestead, I do know him very well, and, I have them all on my cell phone. Because there are things that happen that we sometimes need to talk to each other about. Our communities do need to work together in a lot of things. We can't be an island.
We're very linked. Especially down at the waterfront, we're very linked.
Right. As with Homestead, waterfront's only 30% Munhall, 50% of the waterfront's
because we have where the Big Lots is, right?
Right.
Does it go any in?
Well, we go down to we have Lowe's.
We have Lowe's, okay.
And actually in the waterfront itself, and the Holiday Inn is the one hotel in Munhall.
Okay.
The rest are in Homestead.
And then at the bridge is where it becomes West Homestead?
Right.
Okay.
And what we have, a lot of the apartments down there are Munhall.
Okay.
They are all Munhall, so that's nice. And I think we go up to about the Giant Eagle, yeah.
Oh, do we? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That makes sense.
So, we have to work together,
right.
with our communities. We do share some policing duties down there with them, who all hands on deck when there's a problem.
Yeah.
Whoever can get there first.
We're approaching the holidays.
I know.
Shoplifting Central.
Yeah. Yeah. I know a lot of that happens down the waterfront, there's problems, any mall or
well, as long as
complex.
you do not close that crossover.
Please don't close that crossover for a week. God.
That's not even yours, right?
No, the crossover, oh, no. Amity Street, that's Munhall.
Is Amity
Street Street crossover is Munhall, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought that was Homestead.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Munhall. I know, but I'm pretty sure that is Munhall right up there.
See, that's
it's
what's
so
so
cut
hard.
up, so funny. I'm
Well,
pretty
because
sure.
I know the is the other bridge you, or is the other bridge Whitaker?
The Homestead Grays?
No,
or
the
flyover.
flyover. Is that Whitaker?
That's definitely that's definitely us.
That's definitely us.
Yeah. But no, Amity Street.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
well, Amity Street. I'm thinking that Amity Street has to be
don't know,
Homestead.
the fact that I live there and you're the mayor and we're not sure.
Amity Street has to be Homestead because, both sides of that are Homestead.
Right.
The bar that just closed, that was Homestead.
I loved Blue Dust.
Blue Dust just closed, and that's all Homestead. That has to be Homestead.
Yeah, I think it's Homestead. But people bitch to you about it.
Oh yeah, me, whoever,
You're so funny.
I just had one the other day. Somebody was bitching on my site.
I cross that bridge every day of my life. Like literally every day I cross that bridge. And I was like, this is no worse than usual. Everyone's like, the bridge is terrible. I'm like,
well, it was bad coming back. There were some problems coming back.
Yeah,
but one of it was because there was an accident.
And like last night was bad. But it was open last night. So like it's just that's what it like, because we come over every day, and some days I can get Bruce to work like in like seconds, and then some days I'm like, oh, this is taking an hour today, and it's just the nature of what it is, and to blame you for those, it makes my brain hurt.
Well, you know what?
Okay, here we go.
Oh, here we go.
We're about to get learned.
We're getting some help here.
The Amity Street crossover is Homestead.
Okay.
It is Homestead.
The middle of where the Office Depot used to be, right by TJ Maxx, is where Munhall starts.
In the middle of the Office Depot?
Yeah, I did know that. One of it is right in the middle.
And then, like, that goes the whole
How does that
river.
work? Okay.
And then it goes up to, definitely goes up past, through the waterfront and the flyover up by
The flyover by Whitaker there.
I do know that we are in possession of what's considered the most dangerous bus stop in the country.
Yes, I have heard that. It's supposed to be right down
It's
there.
the one right by the flyover.
Flyover. That's the most dangerous bus stop.
Yeah, that's what they say. It's
crazy down
considered.
there. It looks like it should be haunted, too.
I mean, I don't know who rates bus stops, but I guess somehow.
I've lived all over the country, and I've lived in other countries too. But like, I had friends who were like, "Oh my God, Sammy, is it like this is Munhall? Isn't this by your house?" I'm like, "Okay, first off, it's like 3 miles from my house, but it's like yeah, that's us. We're very proud, but our streets are always plowed, so we just take it. That's a county problem, right? Isn't that a county problem?
That would be a county problem. Anything it's I can push on to the counties the better.
Yeah. Blame the county whenever possible. My son takes the bus every day, and he should, like yesterday he was railing because he works in the strip district, and for whatever reason, the last bus out of downtown has been being like canceled every night, and so he's been being stuck. I'm like, okay, that's not cool. He's like, well, you're interviewing him tomorrow. Can you say something?
Sure.
I don't think he can control that long.
Let me put it on the list.
Okay, so let's say, perfect world, you could just sit at your desk, making your Mondo money that you make as mayor, because I looked that up.
Yep.
Do not give this man a hard time. He makes like nothing.
$200
Seriously.
$200 a month, and a lot of it goes to
Gas, probably.
support. Hey,
Raffle tickets.
raffle tickets. I sponsor a baseball team.
Hey.
A little league team. Softball. I have a sign at the softball field that they've solicited me.
That's
A lot of it goes out.
All right, I'm gonna take my other
$200
question.
a month.
Okay, but that's interesting. So you make $200 a month. So I looked that up. I'm like, that's too much bullshit to put up with. $200 a month. Folks don't realize how little super duper local politicians make. Does council make anything?
Council makes no. I actually.
Do you make more than council?
With taxes, I get $200 a month. I get $3,000 a year, but with taxes coming out, it's $200 a month. Council gets $2,400 a year.
A year. I get $175 per election. I'm fancy.
Yeah.
That pays for lunch because I buy food. People don't realize how little you guys make, and then they get mad because you can't do it 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you had a crystal ball and this $200 a month made everything that you wanted to have happen happen, right? Because I also know that the borough budget's like, it's what it is.
Well, the budget for the whole borough is about $11 million.
Right, but to run a borough.
That's the run of borough. That's your payroll for your police.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's
street
not a ton.
department.
So let's say
borough
all
manager's office staff.
anything you could possibly want, right? We're perfect worlding here, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're dreaming because you throw it out into the universe, and that's how stuff happens. So perfect world. What does Munhall look like 20 years from now? Perfect world. What does it look like for you 20 years from now?
Hopefully, we can get Munhall. Some things we need. We have, vacant property down the waterfront. Maybe we can get that somehow to be green friendly, and maybe that could be, more of a green environment there.
Yeah.
And there's so much, that, we need to.
Are you talking about within the fence? Is that right?
Within that fence, down at the end there, scholastic books.
It used to
and
be.
Stuff.
I remember there being like not a warehouse, but like a big.
Yeah, there was.
Mill kind of looking thing.
Yeah, there was a big, but that's something that, you need to look into, and we need to, develop that little area, and not just for like a park or anything. We don't need a park down there, but we need maybe some infrastructure, some business down there, that is, developing, a green friendly type product.
Are you aware or somehow in connection with those folks that are putting in the production studio across the river? Because they're building, did you know about this?
No, I don't.
Ooh,
tell me, please.
I get to be the bearer of good tidings.
Yeah.
They're building a film production studio at Carey Furnaces.
Yeah, we
Okay,
Across
I
the
wasn't
river.
thinking down Carey Furnaces, yes.
Yeah, so
In
it's
Braddock.
practically across the river from
Yes.
us. So I feel like that's going to bring some money in.
Yeah, over to Rankin Bridge,
Yeah.
down by Carey. I did hear about that,
Yeah.
sorry. I was thinking it was going to be,
I was all excited.
when I was thinking across the river, I was thinking over in, crossing over to Homestead Grays Bridge and Squirrel Hill or
no.
something.
Like
Down there, right.
I was thinking across the river from that thing.
I got you.
So I feel like there has to be some kind of way. I mean, these people are going to need to get fed, right? They're going to need housing. They're going to need storage. They're going to need. We do have Guardian down there, but it would be really cool to somehow get Munhall in on some of that film production action. That they've been working real. Because what's nice about that facility, says the actor, what's nice about that facility is that it is the first facility in the Pittsburgh area to be built specifically for this, right? Because like we have 32nd Street, 31st Street studios, but that's adapted. This they're building specifically, so they don't have to deal with all the problems of having adapted a space.
No, I don't know. I may be able to find you a contact there to help out.
Okay.
I don't know. You may not know this. There's the mayor of Braddock
Right.
of Rankin. Because that's in Rankin. It's not in Braddock.
Right.
That's in Rankin that I became friends with. Her name is Jolisa McDonald.
Okay.
And she is also an aspiring actress.
Oh, well, bring it on.
So maybe I can...
Yeah.
We can meet with Jolisa McDonald because she is an aspiring actress. She has done some films. She looks like Whitney Houston, actually.
Does she?
Yeah. I'll show you a picture
That's
after
not
the
fair.
show. A beautiful girl.
That's not fair.
She looks like Whitney Houston, aspiring actress.
She doesn't look like anybody. That's
She's
not fair.
young. She's about 33, 34 years old, but she's the mayor of Rankin. And that's in her area. And I'm sure she is very involved in that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, I just think there has to be ways to sort of connect the two.
I mean, connections is important.
Right.
That's why we develop connections with communities and other mayors and other people in other communities. Because, someone asked me, I didn't know, I said, I didn't think of it till now, but I know the mayor there is an aspiring actress also.
That's so funny. I'm not aspiring. I'm doing.
You're ready to be there.
I'm
you want to be
doing.
there now.
Listen, I'm doing. I'm doing stuff. I'm a manager. I'm fancy. Yeah, so that would be cool, like to somehow use that space to connect with whatever's happening across.
I think we could, I can maybe help working at Metro, see if we can make something like that happen.
That'd be fun.
With a connection
I think it would be good because we're
over there
right
in
there.
Rankin.
like I've been watching Rankin, and to me it's been very exciting. Like the new housing that they just put in over there. I actually just drove past it yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. I just drove past it yesterday, and it's gorgeous. Like it's so nice, and it was so sad because like we were driving past it. I'm like, dang, it looks good. Oh, it looks like they're getting ready to have people come in, and I'm like, how many people are pissed about this?
Well, I mean, so much that people, nobody, little inconvenience anymore, or things, and other things that I do want to see with Munhall, other than becoming green and developing more things, is I do want to see it be more of the Main Street to keep thriving, because so many places have lost their Main Street, but a lot of them are redeveloping again, like East Liberty and Lawrenceville.
Yeah.
But I do want to see that move on, and I do want to get a better working relationship with, and keep 8th Avenue alive and with new businesses, and keep 8th Avenue a healthy environment. It could be a mini Lawrenceville
Having had
or
locations
something.
both on Main and on 8th.
Right, you did.
I did.
Candles?
Yeah, it was soap. Well, I mean, we had candles, but yeah, we had
The soap, right.
That's okay.
Sorry about
with my
that.
giant banner that pissed people off. But like it was funny because like they didn't complain about it until about 3 weeks before we moved. I was like, it's been there for 2 years. Like one of the hard things was, and it's simultaneously the thing that's beautiful about Munhall and also the thing that's frustrating about Munhall is they come in and to come to your shop and they're like, where'd you go to high school? Texas. And they would walk out.
No, you're kidding.
Oh yeah.
Because you didn't go to Still Valley?
You're not from here.
I didn't go to Still Valley.
Like my kids go.
I didn't go.
My kids are going. Right. And I think that's hard for folks. And I mean, I think it's kind of like a Pittsburgh area issue anyway, is that in order for neighborhoods and communities to thrive, you have to bring people in.
Absolutely.
You have to bring people in because people aren't having 2.5 babies anymore. And so and some people aren't having babies at all. So, eventually the population will die out. So you have to bring people in. And you have to then accept those people that you brought in. That's part of the trick. Is like they come in and they contribute to the community, and then you're like, oh, cool, thank you for being here. And here's the thing. So that was an interesting thing to encounter. And it happened a couple of times.
Well, you're not the only person I've heard that from.
Yeah,
and I'm not from Munhall either.
Well, right, and that's
I'm not. I grew up in West Mifflin. I have roots in Munhall.
But I love it.
My mom grew up in Munhall, but I've never lived in Munhall until 25 years ago.
Oh, really?
I moved to Munhall only 25 years ago, yeah.
I mean, I've been here 8 and a half years, something like that. July it was 8th. It was 8 in July. So, I mean, I love it here, but that it is a very funny thing. But that's also very Pittsburgh, because before I had left, because I lived in Pittsburgh previously, I was living in Lawrenceville for a while. I lived in Lawrenceville when you could afford to live there, before it became fancy. When poor kids like me could live there. And it was the same thing. Like there were people in Lawrenceville who never left for any reason. And it's funny that we have people in Munhall who don't leave for any reason. Their doctor's there, their dentist is there. They go to the grocery store there. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all we do. We're in this, which is adorable on one hand, but also I think does cause some of those problems where if they see somebody they don't recognize, that person is an outsider, but also like the enemy. So I think some of the things that you're doing, like with the Munhall Cares and doing these community nights and doing all this stuff to bring, I think that's going to be hugely helpful because with exposure comes familiarity,
It's bringing in people from other communities to see our Main Street. And it was started up, and unfortunately you're not a Main Street anymore with the business. It was started up to help the Main Street businesses.
I had a crazy landlord. That was that problem.
Yeah.
Like we tried to stay on Main Street, but there really wasn't a place for us to go.
Yeah, it was started up to help the Main Street businesses.
Yeah.
The restaurants there, the Fox's restaurant and the little bars and the so forth.
Oh my God. Have you been to Wolf's Pub?
I have been to Wolf's Pub, yeah. It's good. It's good.
It's so good.
It's nice.
Aren't they like teachers? Aren't they?
Yeah, I think she teaches, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a teacher at Still Valley.
Yeah.
And,
sorry, I got all excited about Fox's because they have Taco Tuesday. I get so excited about Taco.
Wolf's Pub does, yes.
Yeah.
But it was developed to help the businesses up there, the pizza shops. And, one of the main things is, I guess Munhall Cares and I kind of battled a little bit over this at the beginning. They wanted to bring food trucks in.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to the business up there. They were staunch against food trucks because that would take away money from their businesses that people would be eating at Falce's or Wolf's Pub or Stoney's Pizza Company or Stoney's, who's joined it. And Stoney's is good too. I love Stoney's. And but so it was a little battle with CARES. Well, they were ready to bring all kind of food trucks in. And I put a stop to it. I haven't been to
one of the things yet. Are the food places bringing stuff out onto the street?
Oh yeah, okay. They bring it out on the street.
Well, good.
They set a table out, and they sell pizza by the slice. Fox's will run a special. Main Street Tavern does that grill out there. Main Street Tavern will be out there grilling hot sausage and hamburgers. All the pizza shops participate, and they try to have something out on the street. So it really works out well. And then community groups, the Still Valley Band and the football boosters and the Lions Club. And it's a way for them to come out and, promote their little groups and to sell their tickets, or Lions Club sells their brooms.
Right.
So it's a way to promote their little groups. So we try to keep it really community oriented. We do have some crafters that come up and they sell, but they're all doing very well with there too. The crafters that come up and sell different things from artwork to jewelry. Somebody asked me to do, I can't remember who asked me. Somebody asked me to do it and bring the soaps over. I'm like, okay, but it's like kind of during Bruce's work day, and I will admit I don't market. I do not. I don't have it in me. So is Bruce just doing the soaps now?
Well, he was, but he actually got a day job. So, things being what they are, my husband had to get a day job. So, because we didn't want to lose our house, that kind of thing. So, any market kind of thing, that's him.
Do you think the soaps would go on the holiday market, maybe? One for you to go to, because it'll be on a Saturday. Mark it down, December 2nd.
Oh, that's the same weekend as Handmade Arcade.
Oh, that's another event.
That's a huge event. That's a huge event in the convention center. That's Handmade Arcade weekend.
We'll work on another time and get you up there then.
I'm like, that's not going to work. We're sponsors of Handmade Arcade. Yeah. That's not going to work.
But that would be an excellent.
That would be a good one
for the soaps up there that day. I could see people for holidays.
Maybe I could talk my son into. My son will do markets sometimes. I just can't. My anxiety doesn't let it.
But there's room for you up there. There's room for you. We'll get you in if you can get up there.
So okay. So outside of being mayor, like what are some things that you're like, oh, there's this thing I want to do, or one of these days I'm going to get to, or what? I mean, even if it's part of being mayor, like what are some dreams that you have that you want to knock out?
I'm trying to think. Separate the mayor part from the Rob part, the personal part.
Rob, what does Rob want to do?
What's Rob want to do? Rob wants to be mayor for 2 terms.
Okay.
8 years. I want to retire.
Okay.
As mayor. I don't want to be a 30-year mayor. I don't want to be an 80-year-old mayor.
What?
I want to retire.
You seem to love that.
I want to retire after 2 terms and maybe still be active and help live in Munhall, not moving from Munhall, but being able to. I can, once I retire, I would not feel right being mayor if I wanted to go away for the month of January and February and rent a place down in Florida or something. Right. So the mayor
escape
thing
the snow that I love so much
is only there, temporarily. I'm not much of a snow person. I'm more of a sun person. I like the beach.
I realize I'm in the minority. It's okay.
So, but as mayor, there's still a lot more to accomplish. There's a lot more to bring together in a diverse community. Like when you mentioned it earlier about the diverse, Munhall just elected their first. I don't know if you realize their first black councilman last year. I don't know if you know Tim Eads.
Oh yeah,
Tim.
I wasn't paying any attention. I just ran the election. I wasn't paying attention to who won.
I shouldn't say that he is our first. He still had to get by the November election.
But he's on the he's on
the ballot for November election.
That's
and he
freaking fantastic.
And that makes Munhall more diverse with Tim coming on the council.
Because representation matters.
Munhall is changing.
We
are changing in that sense where we are becoming more diverse. 20 years ago, somebody asked me if a black person could get elected council in Munhall. I'd have said, there's not a chance in hell.
Right.
Well, 2023,
there they are.
We elected Tim Eads last spring.
That's great.
And I believe he probably will be elected in the November election. I'm pretty sure he actually had enough votes to get on both ballots. So he is on.
Good for him.
Because he got enough Republican write-ins to get on the Republican ballot too.
And there you go. That's making it happen.
That makes us more of a diverse community there. And I'm so happy to see that, And
what can those of us who are on top of the hill do to help as far as bringing the people at the bottom of the hill up? Because unfortunately, that's the problem, right? Like, we have this we have a cemetery dividing us.
Don't cross that.
Don't cross the cemetery. So like what?
Well, we have great things down there. We have the Carnegie the Carnegie Library of Homestead down there, which I always say is in Munhall.
It is in Munhall. Well, I mean, like whenever big acts come in, they say the Carnegie Library of Munhall. They do.
Yeah. They come to someone who's playing at the Carnegie Library of Homestead. It's in Munhall or whatever. So I mean, we have the library down there. We have great things down there, and we have a lot of people down there that are buying these older homes and on 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th Avenue, and they're fixing them up and they're selling for a lot of money down there now. Yeah. I mean, there's homes down there selling for, $300,000.
Right.
Or more, some of them. And the community down there, I mean, unfortunately, they don't have any representation at this point.
Right.
And the only way they could probably get representation, because there's not the number of people is heavy in the park and the garden,
right,
is to get representation more as if the borough would go to more of a district and have council people elected by districts.
Oh.
Like the city of Pittsburgh. You have representation from all over the city of Pittsburgh. You have, Squirrel Hill, somebody from Squirrel Hill. You got somebody from East Liberty. You got somebody from the Hill District. North Side.
Do we have like wards?
We have
wards within Munhall?
They're called districts.
They're called districts?
Yeah, there's 12 voting districts. And
how many people are on the council?
On the council, there's 7.
7.
But, yeah, that's a good number. I mean, you would never want to go for more than a 9. You always have to have an odd number.
That's what I'm trying to think.
You go to 11 or 13, you're probably getting the too many.
So you could combine voices. 2 districts. Mm-hmm. So it could be 2 districts, and they could each have a rep. And then you could have like an at-large. Right,
and at-large. The school board did that.
Yeah.
The school board has by districts. We have school directors. We vote by districts now. And then there's some at-large that run borough-wide. But that does make sure that Homestead doesn't get screwed out of representation.
Right.
And West Homestead doesn't get screwed out of representation because they're too small to elect somebody at-large.
Right.
And get rolled over.
But we could do that.
Gives them
we could potentially do that with that little section of Munhall down there.
Yeah, that could possibly be done. And
would that have to be like? Would that have to be like a?
That would have to be probably a ballot question
or ballot measure
about how they're going to make up the districts. It would probably have to go to a ballot where it would have to be voted on. But other things that we're working on in Munhall, I mean, we could, I think there could be more shared services. I mean, we all have a public works department.
Like with Homestead and West Homestead?
Yeah.
Why we don't all just combine?
Could happen.
It doesn't make any sense to me why we don't combine.
Well, we just started picking up Homestead's garbage.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, we pick up Homestead's garbage now. They had a contract with Swissville. Mm-hmm. Their contract expired. Homestead doesn't pick up their own.
Right.
They were contracted to Swissville. Swissville, their thing was up, and their contract was up, and Munhall put a bid in it, and they are now collecting Homestead's garbage. So it is starting to happen a little bit. I'd like to see us eventually, West Homestead and Homestead and Munhall. Why do we have one police department? Why there's a lot of towns now that are merging their police departments. Why don't we have a Still Valley Police?
Right.
Because
we share a zip code. Mm-hmm. We're all technically Homestead.
And under the zip code, we're Homestead, right?
We're Homestead. Right. Yeah, to me, that would make sense to do that, because then we would be 50,000?
Oh, no.
Not quite?
We have almost 11. We'd be closing it on 20. Homestead only has 4,000.
Is that it?
Yeah, and West Homestead has about 2,000 to
I still feel
2,500.
like,
They're
I mean,
small.
I feel like we're so entwined with each other. It seems like it would make sense fiscally. It would make sense as far as our community goes. It would make sense, as far as like public works and safety.
Right.
That makes all kinds of sense.
We're already backing each other up our place. I mean,
Right.
if there's a call out there and it's a big call, and Munhall gets called and they're up there and they need backup, you're going to see Homestead or West
Right.
Homestead Police coming up.
Right.
And right now, the other problem that I've been trying to work on, and I haven't been successful yet, but it's still, a dream, a goal
Working it.
of mine. Whitaker.
Get Whitaker in on it.
Whitaker has 2 police officers. So Whitaker has less than 1,000 people. So Whitaker basically is covered a lot of times by Munhall
Right.
because they don't have anybody there on a night turn sometime. And there's not a lot of coverage in Whitaker. I mean,
Can you change their street naming situation, because I deliver over there a lot, and there are 2 Oak Streets. There are 2. There's 2
Well,
Oak
one's
Streets.
Oaks and
There's
West
2
Mifflin, though, isn't it?
Magnolias. Yeah, Mifflin.
but they're real close together.
But they're like
Yeah.
6 blocks apart.
Yeah, Oak and
Can you fix
Whitaker
that
and
for
Oak
me?
and West Mifflin are
Doesn't
real
that,
close
doesn't
together.
that fall into your jurisdiction to fix that? Because I went down the wrong road the other day.
I probably can. I probably would get lost up there too. I go up in the Whitaker. Even I go up in the Whitaker sometimes. I have to go up there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in Munhall. Okay, this is now Whitaker,
Right.
the next street over. Oh, and then I go over a little more, and then I'm in West Mifflin.
And that's what I know.
And a lot of people think they call it the Whitaker projects. I don't
Yeah,
know.
the one on the
A
left.
lot of people think that is actually in Whitaker. That's in West Mifflin.
That's West Mifflin, yeah.
Yeah. But I
it's
don't know what the
confusing
name
over
they're
there.
using now. Years ago, they used to call it the Whitaker.
I just because we were looking. We have a bunch of customers that are on Magnolia, and I was trying to do it without navigating. I'm like, okay, Magnolia, and I was like, this is not right. This doesn't look familiar at all. Oh, right, because there's 2 of them.
Well, that was always.
That makes who thought that was a good idea?
I don't know.
It is seriously one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. That it's West Magnolia. Is the one in Whitaker.
Uh-huh.
And Magnolia is the one in West Mifflin, but it is literally 7 blocks down the road. It's like if you go Whitaker Avenue, it's right there. It's dumb.
Now we have a Shady Avenue in Munhall. A lot of people think Shady Avenue. They think of
The big one in Pittsburgh.
the big one in Pittsburgh.
But at least we have a river. You know what I mean? There's a river
between us, right?
Right. That makes a little bit more sense, but they have the same cross street.
And then right off of West Run Road, there's a street called Green Tree Road.
Right.
That's the one that goes
Yep.
to the church up there.
Yep.
And everybody thinks Green Tree Road.
And so, yeah, I know.
So I mean,
Well,
that's
Pittsburgh is so
Pittsburgh.
weird about that anyway, because Cochrane becomes, oh God. Like I know Cochrane becomes 6 different, as you drive down it, Painters Run at one point, and yeah, it's stupid.
West Run Road becomes Brierley.
Yeah.
It's Commonwealth.
Yeah, Commonwealth Avenue, Hoffman Boulevard,
And then it goes down
down at the Kennywood Boulevard, right?
It's so
Try to
dumb.
explain that to somebody.
But they're really pretty much staying
But
on the same road
you're
the
staying
whole
on the
time.
same road. It's so dumb.
Right.
It's so dumb. All right. Tell me something that you came in planning on saying, and I haven't asked you about it yet.
Well,
There's something in there.
we work with. I try to work with the youth as much as I can. We just took our police dog down to Dragon's Den the other day.
The photos.
They loved him,
Duke?
and I'm getting more requests from it now. I have the seniors at Eldercrest
Okay.
that want to have the police dog come up there.
That's so cute.
So I try to get out into the community. I mean, I think I try to do
yeah.
our police with community policing as much as possible
Yeah.
to get out into the community. Today, my police will be handling, after the end of the parade, I call them light sticks. There's a proper name for them, though.
Oh,
The glow lights.
glow sticks. Yeah.
The glow sticks. They'll be handing those out after the parade is over today. And I try, and the police, I try to get them out into the community as much as possible, meeting with the kids and meeting with the youth.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get another school. This has been a topic for a while. One of the reasons why I thought my police department was getting a little bit low is we need another resource officer. I don't have enough officers right now to put a school resource officer in Park School every day. There's one at the high school, but not at Park.
Right.
I can get them up there maybe a couple days a week, but hiring another police officer onto the borough will enable me to get a full-time officer in Park,
Right.
which is a savings because the school district is going to pay 9 months of their salary.
Right. There
So
you go.
3 months. It's only on me for 3 months then on
That's
the borough.
great. Yeah. Hey. Whatever,
So
whatever
why
works.
not do that? And we have
Well,
someone there every day.
If the kids see them
Mm-hmm.
on a regular basis, right? If the only time they see a cop is when something bad or they've done something stupid, then
Right.
then like a fear develops, But if they see them all the time, and also the kids become very real to these police, like, oh, he's not just some bad kid doing a stupid thing. Oh, that's Bobby.
Right.
I know Bobby. Bobby's clearly having an off day. I feel like that will decrease some of the issues that we have.
And Officer Bomey, who's the resource officer at high school, has taken on the role up there of the cross-country coach.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So he's working with
My
the
kids
kids
don't participate in
after
anything.
the school because he is the cross-country coach.
That's awesome.
And when I became mayor, one of the first things we started was a mayor's youth advisory council.
Okay.
And that's where we have a liaison from the school, usually a junior or a senior. They come to all the meetings and
Nice.
they can report back to the school what's going on. Sometimes it's good stuff. Sometimes they report something bad.
Yeah.
But hopefully we're not
Y'all,
fighting
they're
at that
onto us.
meeting. I usually don't fight with anybody at the meetings, but sometimes
I haven't
there's
heard-
some
you
fighting
know,
at the meetings.
I will say, since you've become mayor, I have not heard of any punches being thrown.
No,
during the
that was a while
council
back. That's happened before.
I know it has.
That's happened before. I was in between the two of them.
Oh my God.
I wasn't mayor then, but I was in between the two council people that night.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you
I was
seem to
like,
have brought
okay,
a calming element.
Anything happens here, if I get hit, then I'm going to get mad. So, better stay.
Well, I mean, any time you're trying to make big changes, it's going to get funky. It's just going to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just going to.
But I think Munhall is heading in, I know Munhall is heading in the right direction. I mean, I think we're staying the course and we're going to, it's going to be a vibrant community again. And I'm going to do everything that I can to keep the community vibrant.
As long as you
it
keep
is
it
now.
Boring, because that's how I like
Boring
it.
a little bit. We're not going to have big parties up there, and we're not going to make it a college town, But and the second point, we could be a good hub for kids that go to Pitt and CMU and Duquesne, because our housing.
We just need to get their shuttles to come over.
Renting to them would be so much cheaper than they're renting in. Mm-hmm. In Southside or renting up in Oakland.
Yeah, and I think the only thing that hurts us as far as
we have
that
the
goes,
good bus lines.
Yeah, I think that's the
and
only
your
thing
son
that
would
hurts
be
us.
happy about that.
Yeah, I know my son. He does not want. He's 31. He does not want to learn how to drive.
But there has to be a way that we get them. I would like to attract young people. I nothing against the young ones, but I'd like to attract the grad student type things.
Heck yeah.
That will keep us.
Well,
little more
right.
quieter,
because we're
hopefully.
less likely to set couches on fire when they're in grad school. Awesome. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
I enjoyed doing this. I hope I didn't disappoint anyway.
No, I
Hope it was a good
appreciate
talk.
you. I appreciate you coming. I realize it's precarious footing, as a politician to talk to some crazy actress who's deciding to have this thing. So I really do appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you for your input now and then. And thank you guys. And I will see you next month for the Dream Chasers podcast.